What if two ordinary-looking wheat pennies, the 1946 and the 1951 Lincoln cent, are hiding a secret that millions of people completely overlook? Every day, these old pennies are forgotten in coin jars, drawers, and family collections, yet a few rare examples with the right mint mark, outstanding condition, or genuine mint errors have captured the attention of serious collectors. In today's video, we're revealing the fascinating history behind these iconic coins, the key details that make some examples far more collectible than others, and exactly what you should check before spending one. Stay with us until the very end. You might never look at an old wheat penny the same way again. The coin number 1. Imagine reaching into your pocket, opening an old coin jar, or sorting through a box of family keepsakes and discovering a small copper penny that has quietly survived for generations. At first glance, it may seem like nothing more than an ordinary 1-cent coin. But the 1946 wheat penny carries a story that connects the end of World War II, the beginning of a new era in American history, and the enduring fascination of coin collecting. While most 1946 wheat pennies are common, certain examples with exceptional preservation, genuine mint errors, or unusual characteristics have become especially desirable to collectors. The excitement lies in knowing what to look for before deciding that any old penny is just another cent. The Wheat Penny series first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first regular United States circulating coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the front displays Lincoln's profile, while the reverse shows two wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. This simple but elegant design remained in production until 1958 and became one of the most recognizable coins in American history. The year 1946 marked an important moment for the United States. The Second World War had ended, millions of soldiers were returning home, industries were shifting back to civilian production, and the nation was entering a period of rebuilding and growth. The coins produced during this time became silent witnesses to that transition. Every 1946 wheat penny passed through countless hands during an era filled with hope, change, and economic recovery. The United States Mint produced 1946 wheat pennies at 3 facilities. Philadelphia struck coins without a mint mark, Denver used the D mint mark, and San Francisco used the S mint mark. Although millions of coins were produced, collectors know that not every example is equal. Small differences in preservation, strike quality, color, and originality can make one coin much more desirable than another. One of the first things experienced collectors examine is the coin's condition. A heavily worn coin that circulated for decades will naturally show smoother details and reduced luster. Another coin from the same year that was carefully stored may still display sharp design elements and original mint brilliance. Those better preserved examples are much harder to find because even tiny marks, scratches, or wear can affect a coin's grade. Professional grading services evaluate coins on a numerical scale, and the highest grades are usually the most difficult to achieve. A coin that appears nearly perfect under magnification is far scarcer than one that spent years in circulation. This is one reason collectors often pay much more for outstanding examples than for ordinary circulated coins of the same date. Another fascinating aspect of the 1946 wheat penny is the possibility of genuine mint errors. During the minting process, mistakes occasionally occurred. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, repunched mint marks on some historical issues, and other authentic minting varieties attract collector interest because they are far less common than standard coins. Every unusual feature should be carefully examined before assuming it is an error, since damage that occurs after a coin leaves the mint is very different from a true mint mistake. Many people believe cleaning an old coin increases its value, but experienced collectors usually prefer original surfaces. Harsh cleaning can leave fine scratches and remove the natural appearance that specialists appreciate. For that reason, an untouched 1946 wheat penny with honest age often has stronger collector appeal than a polished example. The 1946 wheat penny remains popular because it combines history, affordability, and the thrill of discovery. It reminds collectors that every coin has traveled through time, witnessing decades of everyday life before eventually finding its way into someone's collection. Sometimes the greatest reward is not finding a fortune, but uncovering the remarkable story hidden inside an ordinary-looking penny. In the next part, we'll explore the different mint marks, what collectors look for, how grading affects value, notable era varieties, and why some 1946 wheat pennies receive far more attention than others. As collectors continued studying the 1946 wheat penny over the years, they discovered that even two coins struck on the same day could look completely different decades later. Some coins entered circulation immediately, passing through thousands of hands until most of the fine details wore away. Others were saved by banks, collectors, or families and remained almost untouched. That difference in preservation is one of the biggest reasons why collector value can vary so much from one coin to another. If you look closely at a 1946 wheat penny, the first detail to check is the mint mark. A coin with no mint mark was struck in Philadelphia. A small D below the date means it was produced at the Denver Mint, while an S identifies the San Francisco Mint. Each mint used its own dies and equipment, creating slight differences in strike quality. Collectors often enjoy comparing coins from all three mints to see which examples show the sharpest details and strongest original luster. Color is another important feature. Copper changes naturally over time. Some 1946 wheat pennies still display their original bright reddish color and are known as red coins. Others have aged into a mixture of red and brown, while many have turned fully brown after decades of circulation. Coins that retain their original red surfaces are usually much more difficult to find because copper reacts easily with air and moisture. When a bright red coin also has very few marks and an outstanding strike, it becomes especially attractive to collectors. The quality of the strike also matters. On some coins, Lincoln's hair, the lettering, and the wheat stalks appear bold and crisp because the dies struck the blank planchet with excellent pressure. On others, the details may look softer because the dies had begun to wear or the strike was slightly weaker. These small differences are often overlooked by casual observers, yet experienced collectors notice them immediately. Mint errors add another layer of excitement. During production, mistakes sometimes occurred that created unusual coins. Genuine off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die chips, and broad strikes are examples of mint errors that collectors find fascinating. Because these errors happened at the mint, before the coins entered circulation, they tell a unique story about the manufacturing process. However, damage that happened later, such as being bent, scratched, drilled, or exposed to chemicals, is generally not considered a valuable mint error. Professional grading services have helped make the coin market more reliable by examining authenticity and assigning grades based on preservation. A certified high-grade 1946 wheat penny gives buyers confidence that the coin has been carefully evaluated by experts. As a result, collectors often compete for the finest certified examples because they are much scarcer than ordinary circulated coins. Another reason the 1946 wheat penny remains popular is its connection to an important period in American history. It was minted during the first full year after World War II, when factories shifted back to civilian production and families looked toward a more peaceful future. Every surviving penny from that year is a small reminder of that remarkable moment in history. Even though it was created as everyday money, it has become a collectible that links the past with the present. As the years passed, millions of these pennies disappeared through wear, damage, melting, or simple neglect. Yet many survived in coin albums, family collections, and forgotten jars. Every time someone discovers a 1946 wheat penny today, they are holding a small piece of American history that has traveled through countless hands before reaching the present day. That sense of history is one of the reasons collectors continue searching for the finest examples year after year. In the next part, we'll explore the most sought-after 1946 wheat penny varieties, realistic collector values, auction highlights, and the key details that can make one example far more desirable than another. The coin number 2. Imagine finding an old penny tucked away inside a forgotten coin jar, a dusty drawer, or a family collection that has not been opened for decades. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary 1-cent coin, but what if that small piece of copper has a fascinating story to tell? The 1951 wheat penny is one of those coins that many people overlook, yet it continues to attract the attention of collectors because of its history, its classic design, and the possibility of discovering exceptional examples with outstanding preservation or genuine mint errors. Before you spend a 1951 wheat penny or set it aside without another thought, take a closer look. The smallest details can make all the difference to a collector. The story of the wheat penny began in 1909, when the United States introduced a new 1-cent coin to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It became the first regular circulating American coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse displays Lincoln's profile, while the reverse features 2 elegant wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. This timeless design remained in production until 1958 and is still one of the most beloved coin designs in American numismatic history. By the time the 1951 wheat penny was struck, the United States was experiencing a period of economic growth after World War II. Factories were expanding, communities were growing, and millions of these pennies entered daily circulation. They passed from one hand to another in grocery stores, restaurants, banks, and businesses across the country. Every surviving 1951 wheat penny has its own journey, making each coin a small piece of American history. The 1951 wheat penny was produced at 3 United States mint facilities. Coins without a mint mark came from Philadelphia, coins with a D mint mark were struck in Denver, and those with an S mint mark were produced in San Francisco. Although millions of coins were minted, collectors know that not every example is equally desirable. Condition, strike quality, originality, mint mark, and genuine mint errors all influence collector demand. One of the first things experienced collectors notice is the condition of the coin. A heavily circulated penny may have smooth details and worn lettering, while a carefully preserved example can still display sharp design features and bright original luster. Because so many 1951 wheat pennies entered circulation, finding one that has remained in outstanding condition for decades is much more challenging than many people expect. Collectors also pay close attention to the natural color of copper. Some 1951 wheat pennies have retained their original bright red appearance, while others have gradually turned red-brown or brown over time. Coins that still display original red surfaces are generally more difficult to find because copper naturally changes color as it ages. When a coin combines original red color with excellent preservation, it often attracts stronger collector interest. The minting process itself can also create fascinating varieties. Although modern equipment was highly advanced for its time, small production mistakes occasionally occurred. Genuine mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and other unusual varieties are much scarcer than ordinary coins and are often sought by collectors because they reveal the manufacturing process in a unique way. Every unusual coin should be examined carefully to determine whether it is a true mint error or simply post-mint damage. One of the biggest misconceptions about old pennies is that age alone guarantees high value. In reality, collector demand depends on a combination of rarity, preservation, originality, and authenticity. Most circulated 1951 wheat pennies are common, but outstanding certified examples and genuine error coins can attract significantly more interest than ordinary pieces. That is why experienced collectors examine every detail before deciding whether a coin deserves closer attention. As time passed, countless 1951 wheat pennies were lost, damaged, melted, or simply worn beyond recognition. Yet many survived inside coin albums, old bank rolls, and family collections, waiting to be rediscovered by a new generation of collectors. That continuing sense of discovery is one of the reasons the Wheat Penny series remains so popular today. Every coin tells a story, and every collector hopes that the next penny they examine could reveal something special. In the next part, We'll explore the different mint marks in greater detail, discuss genuine mint errors, explain how professional grading affects collector value, and reveal the characteristics that make certain 1951 wheat pennies far more desirable than others.